That may have been one of the best end credit scenes I've seen in a long time. What a dooski. It's Fellow34 here with a review and a little discussion video of this week's episode of My Hero Academia. This one was Season 3, Episode 9, titled All for One. So I just got finished up watching the episode, doing my reaction and for the episode. And man, I am beyond hyped for what's going to happen in the next week or two. Diving into this episode, there were a ton of small impactful moments to some of our characters, but as well as some bigger moments that went down, and of course the biggest one, as you know, at the end of the episode, with the return of, well, you know who. As always, if you enjoyed this one, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, if you want to get notifications for when my videos drop, then be sure to click the little bell button next to the subscribe button so you know when the videos drop. Pretty much the story for this episode is the heroes have located the League of Villains, and they hope to execute their plan in time to rescue Bakugo before the villains try to sway him to join them. In addition, we also have the group of students, and they're zoning in on a facility that they think the villains may be at. Alright, so this episode picks off near the end of the last episode where we had the students watching the television, and we see Aizawa Eraserhead on the screen speaking to the press about the incident that happened recently with the students. I actually really like how they started off this episode in that specific instance where we have the teachers on the screen talking to the press. Eraserhead in this situation, we don't really get to see him. We obviously know he's a level-headed, hero and teacher because he's in that position. But we often see him, joking around with the students who are like very serious and uptight. But here in this situation, we see him very cool, calm, and collected, but also taking responsibility for what happened, obviously, with the students in the summer camp and all that jazz, because he probably feels a lot of guilt because he was one of the only real, UA heroes and teachers there because everyone else stayed back, including All Might. I really enjoyed this moment too because he's sticking up for his pupils, which was just so dope to see. Obviously, Bakugo, who is the center of attention, who's being wrapped up in all this stuff, he's been kidnapped. Then one of the journalists in the room starts off by trying to corner Eraserhead by telling him like, oh, you think he's going to be a villain because of this, and that with the sports festival, with, how he's been behaving. And on the surface level, it really does seem like he's going to be turned into a villain, and that's what the villain's goal is. I'm a journalism student. I know he was doing a pretty good job of pressing him, but that actually connected to one of my favorite parts of this episode, where we got to dive a little bit deeper into the character of Bakugo. I've been saying this from time, and I know a bunch of other people out there have too. He is not Sasuke, and I don't mean to draw the connection to Naruto, but there are parallels. I believe he will not be a villain, and this episode really kind of showed why. Eraserhead touched on it this episode. He is like the embodiment of UA. He's just very competitive. He's very, has a lot of issues. Even touched upon it, the students' mental health in this episode, which is great to see and incorporated in a show like this. He's got a lot of things going on with him, and he definitely is a complicated character, but he's not a villain. And I think this episode really showed it from the flashbacks that literally were showing that were a solid time to show that he's not. He wants to be a hero, and you even see that when he looks at All Might and the glimmer in his eye and all that shit. But he's definitely not a villain, and I think this episode was just another. If the last episode didn't give into, this episode was another solid hit to show you that. So the students struck gold this episode and found a facility that contained the Nomus. Okay, this was alright, and if I'm being honest, for me, while I didn't mind seeing the students and this little plot that they're going about, this was probably the low light of the episode for me. Not saying that it was bad per se, but there wasn't much going on, so that was just like a minor complaint for me. Another character who was a standout to me this episode was definitely Shigaraki. He's someone who got the spotlight here subtly, and despite the episode being called All for One, it really had a lot of focus on Shigaraki, although it did sort of backdoor the perfect, almost an excellent execution of All for One. We got some dope character moments and progression, which was awesome to see here. We got to see him react differently than we typically see him here, and when things start to fly off the rails. It shows a lot of progression in that he's truly a worthy leader for the League of Villains, one who holds conviction and beliefs close to that of the hero killer Stain, also becoming a formidable foe to the heroes and, hero society in general. On top of this, we finally got to see some more personal backstory for Shigaraki, which I've been waiting for. Although it was kind of short and towards the end of the episode, but it was very important because we got to see, the moments between All for One and Shigaraki finally, instead of just this sort of like toxic, like, yelling at the TV screen and him give him sass back and stuff. We actually got to see some more of that history, which was dope. So from what we see, as his plans slowly start to crumble and, the heroes step in and he's losing it, Although we have to give him some credit. He held it down for as much as possible in this one. We get to see none other than All For One back in the day during his prime, I'm assuming, when he's much younger and not, you know, I don't think he's gotten the fight with All Might yet. I love this. It's probably one of my favorite parts of this episode. You know, it showed us why Shigaraki is the way he is to some extent, why he's serving this master. Obviously, we've known that he hates Hero Society and everything about it, and he's given quick mentions as to why he believes this. But this scene, you know, this is one that gives him much more personal, grounded reasoning to this. You know, he was just some kid in a terrible situation that happened, and he was ignored, left, which appears to be for dead, and no one, and not even heroes, came to his aid when he was vulnerable and in need. So of course, that's when the villain would step in, and that's where All For One came and became his boss / mentor. Again, I just love this scene and the way they went about showing this, and I hope we see more of them in the near future. All right, y'all, the biggest thing from this episode, for sure, 100%, probably the biggest thing this episode, y'all, was the return of One For All. This shit got me so shook. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I found this to be almost a perfect setup for the villain. We've been hearing and teasing about this all For One this whole entire, you know, series and season in the past season. You know, from starting off the episode with Shigaraki having the upper hand, to him ultimately failing and needing the help of his mentor after he tried so hard, held his cool, did a solid job, honestly, and just fell short a little bit. From him thinking he had the upper hand, Shigaraki, to having to have his mentor come out of the damn TV screen finally, stop Netflix and chilling on the couch to actually come step into the game, you know, pull a Thanos, you know, I'll do this myself sort of shit. So that was awesome to see. Like I said, I thought this was a great setup for All For One entrance, and now that means next episode, he is going to not only be into the ring, he's not only stepping into the ring, y'all, but the man is going to be given the hands. So I'm very excited to see how all that's going to go. He's going to be giving them all the hands. Every single one of them. Also, y'all, I missed the end credit scene initially when I first watched the episode, but I went back and I saw it, y'all. So let's just talk about the end credit scene quickly. It was just amazing. It was probably... All For One isn't playing. And I think that's really evident in the last episode. He literally... Yo, guys, he literally put the fear of God into the kids. Did you take that in? He literally made them see their dead bodies. Man was floating like 11. That was some awesome shit. Freaking insane. I can't wait for next week's episode, and things are going to get stupid lit. Another thing that I really enjoyed about My Hero, not just this episode, but all of them this season and previous seasons, is the animation quality. It's just superb. I feel like they're going to be dumping even more efforts and amazing animation quality into the next few episodes, with this big fight scene to come between All Might and All For One inevitably. And I'm convinced this may even top my favorite hero my favorite My Hero moment, which was earlier this season between Deku and Muscular. But anyway, though, how hyped are you guys for the All For One All Might fight and just All For One stepping in the ring? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below for that. From what we see, it appears that Genus and Tiger are the ones in the first line to defense to stopping All For One. I mean, but he's All For One. The man's been taking up quirks for a hot minute. He'll just breeze through them and cause some serious damage. But what's really important about this episode was it signals a moment that All Might's been dreading for years. You know, since season 2 when he name dropped the character, introduced him to Deku. I think next week might be the week. I think it might be the big rematch. That's right, y'all. All For One versus All Might 1v1 on Rust. I think it's happening. This just gets me super excited because we've been watching the opening. We've been seeing the moment where All Might just goes in the screen. So it's just going to be so awesome to see this fully animated. I'm going to be stupid hyped for this episode. I'm excited to watch this week. So I'm here for it. I am here for it. Well, the pacing for the show has been super quick, so I'm guessing it's gonna be next week. And now that I wrote this line before I saw the end credit scene, but I've seen the end credit scene now. It's pretty much confirmed. They might drag it out or something, but I'm pretty sure that next week's gonna be the big fight. Some last quick mentions this episode, y'all, were the hero moments when all of that quick little sequence where the heroes were kind of stepping up and they were, you know, they broke into the facility, they attacked, they got the villains down locked. That was just an awesome executed sequence with some great music behind it, and especially the OST for that sequence and the ending with All For One. I'm done. That's some top-notch shit right there. You know, just seeing all the police officers, the heroes all coordinate with one another to save this child, you know, Bakugo, so awesome. Really embody what it means to be a hero and working together and shit. So I love that. Last comments, action sequences were super engaging and animated well this episode. Oh, lastly, the one "We Are Here" comment by All Might was just a good little, you know, cheer up, you know, happy moment for me that I really enjoyed. Anyway, y'all, that's gonna wrap it up for this little My Hero season 3 episode 9, you know, video topic review-ish. I love this episode, probably one of my favorites of the season and probably up there for my favorites in the entire series. But what did you think about this episode? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to smack that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, don't forget to click the little bell button next to the subscribe button if you want to get up to date with all my videos right when they drop. YouTube's been really weird recently and not showing notifications. Just be sure to do that if you want. So, question for all of you again, are you looking forward to next week's episode? Let me know in the comment section down below. Things are gonna be hype. Also, in case you don't know me, y'all, if you're interested, I actually do reactions to every single episode. So if you want to see my reaction to this episode, then be sure to check it out in the description down below. Anyway, though, that's gonna wrap it up for this one, y'all. I will see you all next time. See ya.